Make sure to check out bit.com. It is a premier cryptocurrency exchange with huge savings, up to 80% available for new users. This is my favorite exchange of all time. It's got great options for leverage futures trading. It also has cryptocurrency options. Yes, that is a thing, and you can literally trade them like stock options on a options ladder. You can get rewards just for depositing. I'll leave a link to it in the description of this video. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, what's going on, everyone? Matthew from therighttrader.com, back again with another cryptocurrency video. Today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin and the very volatile price action we've seen in crypto. Now, just to give you my kind of overview on where I'm standing with all of this, I am very bullish on Bitcoin. Now, I still think we could literally see prices around $15,000 to $12,000 for Bitcoin on the peak low, but I am still bullish, and you may be wondering why. Well, the reason why is that Bitcoin, regardless of what anybody says, is holding up better than most cryptos. In fact, in the last 7 days, Bitcoin is up slightly. If you look at its, number one counterpart, Ethereum, it's down almost 9% in that same amount of time the last 7 days. Now, that is unacceptable to me, right? I would not want to be holding Ethereum right now and seeing Bitcoin stay basically steady during all this volatility, and Ethereum literally being down pretty substantially, right? Just as much as some of the smaller altcoins. And this is not to overly bash Ethereum. I think that Bitcoin and Ethereum are the two kings of cryptos, and I honestly don't ever see that changing. But I do want to really mention the difference between Bitcoin and Ethereum, which at the end of the day is an altcoin and will react more like altcoins than not. Now, of course, right, if we go into the smaller altcoins, things like Avalanche, which I actually own quite a bit of, these things have been getting absolutely pummeled. And that is why during this sort of bear market in crypto, I am staying away right now from, first off, any further crypto purchases, except maybe Bitcoin here and there, but absolutely not touching any type of altcoin. Now, there are some that are doing better than others. Tron has been holding up very well. Its thesis behind it, its stablecoin, everything it has going on is actually quite bullish. And for that reason, right, it's actually been doing decent during this market downturn. But still, right, I am not going to risk that when I know that the real money right now is focusing in on Bitcoin. And we're going to be taking a look at the chart, talking about everything that's going on. I was expecting this pullback, and I actually think that right now is actually a pretty good buying opportunity. Not financial advice, but I do see us pumping higher before we drop back down again. So like I said, right, overall thesis is if we zoom out, we are going to be reaching around this low over here, around $15,000, give or take. And with that being said, although this is a massive drop from the price point we're at, right, that's going to be basically right about a 50% drop from current price levels, I still think that Bitcoin is going to do much better than other cryptos, right? And let's go ahead and flip over to Ethereum just to, take a look at what's happening. And for Ethereum, right, we're looking at actually what could be a very ugly drop, right? I mean, we've got a little bit of support here around that $600 area. So if we go ahead and draw that same thing out with the drop percentage, we're looking more towards a 60% drop for Ethereum. And, we could see even a little bit more of a drop if we're to move down to some of those lower levels, maybe around $500, for example, on the peak dip. That's going to be a 70% drop. So regardless, Bitcoin is going to fare better than Ethereum, and more importantly, is going to experience much less volatility regardless of if we go up or down, right? So in this video, I will be mostly focusing on Ethereum, and that is on Bitcoin, and that's for that exact reason. So I'm going to be coming to this chart in just a second, but just to further explain why I am so bearish on these altcoins right now is they don't have much to hold them up, especially in these bearish conditions. And there's been horrible news in the altcoin space every week, right? We saw what happened with Luna and UST. Look at what just happened here just a few hours ago on Solana. It halted blocks once again, and you know, the restarting network. Solana is a joke of a cryptocurrency. I'm telling you right now, that is my own personal opinion, but I can't take a cryptocurrency that's gone down dozens of times in the last 2 months. It is nothing what a cryptocurrency is supposed to be, and the market is seeing that and reacting appropriately, right? I sold any last Solana that I have, and we're down to $40. You know, yes, we may be reaching you know, a bottom here, but regardless, I see no real value in going in on Solana, because if the blockchain itself is barely working right, what price are you going to put on that? I mean, is it even worth $25 if it goes down every month? Well, that's a decision that you have to make, but I'm just giving you my own personal opinion. It is a bit harsh, but that is my own personal opinion on Solana right now. And like I said, right, yes, we are reaching some lows here. Could we all go back long term to $250? Absolutely. But still, right, for me personally, it's not worth the risk and reward when we see how Bitcoin is actually holding true to what it's supposed to be, right, which is this sort of digital gold. And right now, at around a $500 billion market cap, it's becoming much more interesting in terms of valuation to catch that long-term move to $1 million, which I think we will ultimately reach for Bitcoin, $1 million plus. And I think that in the next 2 years, we could easily be pushing 100,000, even with all these conditions going on. But we may end up, you know, reaching that peak dip around $15,000. So that is still where I think we're going in the medium term. But like I said, holding up better than others. Now, if we actually look at the chart here, first thing that we're going to want to look at is this head and shoulders formation. This is a bearish formation, and what this is signifying, right, is more further downside to this lower level here. You know, this could really be anywhere between 20,000 and all the way down to 12,000. But, you know, we're going to take the middle of that and say right around $15,000 is going to be about that price target. And that is where we have quite a bit of support. Now, in recent weeks, Bitcoin has done some interesting things. Now, we are still in this longer term downtrend that has not been broken out of whatsoever. However, we are at a support level, and that is why we're seeing a lot of up and down price action right here, right? We have huge support around this $29,000 level. And what that means is that we could use this support to leapfrog us a little bit higher in this range, right? And I'm actually expecting $35,000 per Bitcoin in the next month or so. And that is also based on the fact that we have an open gap there on the CME Bitcoin futures. So that is a additional reason why I am targeting that $35,000 price level. So although today we're dipping down 7% on Bitcoin, that's never pretty. This was actually fully in line with my target, right? I was expecting us to reach $32,000, which we did to the T. And guess what happened, right? We fell right back down to the support level to clear that gap that we just created. 29,500, that was my exact target. Now you can see the support coming in. And I think that from here, right, we're literally just going to start crawling back up. We're going to get one last pump to $35,000. And then we're going to start, yes, you heard it, sinking lower once again. As soon as we reach $35,000, I have a hard time seeing us doing much better than that. And then we're going to start moving back to 29,000 and breaking through that and start pushing us this time much more violently down in the $20,000 range. With that being said, is there a scenario where we could pump up a little bit higher? Definitely. You know, I could see us pushing 40,000, possibly even $42,000 on an absolute pump here from current levels. But even if we were to go, you know, kind of to the max high that I see here of $42,000, that would just be a temporary wick higher just to come crashing right back down. So the fact of the matter here is that, yes, we can bounce here. I'm actually expecting a bounce, but that will not cancel out the longer term, medium term thesis of reaching back to these lows here. It seems practically inevitable. And look at all the resistance we have ahead right now. There isn't much buying pressure whatsoever in the crypto space. There are some pumps here and there, right? Like we've seen them before. A lot of volatility. You know, we get these sharp spikes higher, you know, where we test the trend lines like we did over here. But, you know, does that last? Absolutely not, right? We come crashing right back down. So in that sense, you know, this move right back here, I'll go ahead and change the color of the pen I'm using, but basically, right, I think that what we're seeing over here at this $29,000 level is very similar to what we experienced at this support level right here at around, you know, $34,000, where we were kind of range bound, but then we got that pump up to this purple downtrend line, and that was previously at $47,000. And guess what that came in line with? To a T, that 200-day moving average on the daily time frame. We tested that. That was right in line with our resistance level, and we came crashing right back down. Just to show you the actual percentage of that drop in a very short amount of time, that was actually a 40% drop there that we got. So that is probably going to repeat itself pretty much to a T, where we come back up to the $35,000 level, or at the most to the $42,000 level, which is right in line with the 200-day moving average, and there's just too much resistance. And now people have got their eyes on this level. Short sellers are going to be shorting Bitcoin and other cryptos aggressively on any pumps, and it will not make them last. So, you know, the blood is in the water, and I think $15,000 is inevitable at this point. And of course, right, Bitcoin, which is the strongest of all cryptocurrencies, I don't want to hear anyone say otherwise. If Bitcoin is going to drop 50%, you can only imagine what's going to happen to other cryptos. We've seen Ethereum not perform well during this drop. It's actually been weakening, and other altcoins, right, especially anything smaller such as Cardano, Dogecoin, Polkadot, these things have been getting absolutely wrecked, right? And some are better than others, such as Kronos Chain, still getting wrecked. So there are very few exceptions in terms of altcoins that are really holding up on this drop. It is truly a destruction here in terms of these altcoins. And, you know, I can't blame the market, right? It makes sense. There's no reason to hold these altcoins in such a bearish market when, you know, if you held Bitcoin, you're going to suffer much less damage, and you're guaranteed to catch any pump that the market sees. We see cryptos regularly, things like Polkadot, that literally have just been dropping, right? They barely even get the pumps even when the market does go up, and they drop right back down. Bitcoin, in the grand scheme of things, right, in the past you know, week or so, even 2 weeks, it's been somewhat steady around this $29,000 level. And even from this area right here, it hasn't been that horrific of a drop. Let's go ahead and compare that to Ethereum here and see how they've been performing differently. How big is the difference in terms of the drop? So we're going to look back to that level of the bounce there, and we're going to calculate the drop. So going to the drop here, we got that extra 10% downside. And what does that come in line with? That comes directly in line with my prediction here that when we reach the peak low for Ethereum, we're going to be down to a 60% drop, whereas for Bitcoin, it was a 50% drop to my price target. If you remember, I'll go ahead and pull it up now to show you. Excuse this messy chart. Let's go on a cleaner chart here. So taking that same perspective on Bitcoin, we're getting a 50% max drop here from what I can see. So expect not substantially more downside for Ethereum, but a bit more, and definitely a bit more volatility. And like I said, these are still going to be the two safest crypto assets around. I think that any smaller altcoins are in serious danger. You know, we're going to see some coins right now in the top 50 that are going to vanish, right? Things that will never be seen again, like we saw back in 2017, back during previous crypto pumps and then bear markets. There are coins that will never make it again, right? Look at coins like Internet Computer. This is a typical example of what can happen to cryptos. Things that were very hyped, things that reach very high market caps. ICP reached a market cap of $17 billion, and look at where it's at now. We are literally almost at $1 billion in market cap, and the price chart is horrific. This is going to be typically an example of a coin that could literally just you know, crash into the abyss of crypto and never really be seen again. Now, some are going to recover. There are great altcoins still in the top 10. I like Tron, I like Avalanche, I like Polygon still, but that doesn't mean that they're not going to get wrecked. And if you want to play the safe game here, or at least try minimizing losses, holding something that'll, allow you to sleep at night, so to say, Bitcoin is going to be the one for that. And that's not financial advice. That's just my own personal opinion. But I can tell you, when you're holding substantial amounts of Bitcoin versus substantial amounts of altcoins, it's a whole different, in terms of your stress level, right? Because you know that what you're holding has stood the test of time. Any drops on Bitcoin, even historically, get bought back up pretty quickly. And for that reason, I am really focusing in on Bitcoin and avoiding getting caught up in altcoins. Even if there are temptations, there are pumps here and there, I'm going to stick to what I know is, yes, maybe going to drop, but will certainly recover to much higher levels, if not millions of dollars in the next few years after that. That is the play that I'm trying to make. That's what I want to be capitalizing on, instead of, risking on all these many altcoins. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Make sure to follow me on my Twitter for live cryptocurrency market updates, and I'll see you next time. Have a great day.